Hi, this is Chris McKaylee, and I want to talk to you about a few of the differences in drafting the three types of legislative measures. So, as you probably know, in the state of California, there are three types of legislative measures, bills being the most obvious, but also resolutions and constitutional amendments. And each is drafted slightly differently, and each has some required and form language. What I am attempting to do is give you some examples of required language for each type of measure. So bills obviously create statutes. In Section 8 of Article 4, it says that the legislature shall enact no law except by statute and enact no statute except by bill. So bills create statutes, and they always begin with with the enacting clause set forth in the government code. So every bill has to begin with the people of the state of California do and act as follows. And thereafter, a bill either amends, adds, or repeals statutory provisions in one or more of the 29 California codes. So you can add new statutory language, you can amend existing statutory language, or you can repeal existing statutory language. After the substantive language of the bill, really the contents of the bill, they also contain plus sections, which are provisions that follow the proposed statutory language. And this is where you find things like urgency clauses, state mandated local programs, special statutes, contingent enactment language, double jointing language, etc. When it comes to resolutions, we have three different ones. We have House resolutions, which means they only pass the Assembly or the Senate, and then joint and concurrent resolutions, which require passage by both houses, and those are chaptered with the Secretary of State. No resolution goes to the governor's desk. And resolutions provide whereas clauses, and they conclude with a resolved clause. For example, that resolved by the Assembly of the State of California, the Senate thereof concurring that the California legislature recognizes the benefits of the collaborative work by many organizations that promote, facilitate, and carry out needed service projects. And be it further resolved that the California legislature encourages its members and colleagues to urge their constituents to participate in community service projects. This is some language at the end of a concurrent resolution that's adopted by the Assembly and Senate. So note, there is not an exact, I always say that, sorry, there is not an enacting clause, nor are there plus sections in resolutions. It's simply the statements, the whereas clause, and then the conclusion, the resolved clause or clauses. And then the third type of measure is a constitutional amendment, which can be proposed by the legislature. They do not require gubernatorial action. So constitutional amendments by the legislature are not sent to the governor. However, they do require a 2/3 vote by both the Assembly and Senate in order to be placed on the statewide ballot for a vote by the statewide electorate. Constitutional amendments have introductory language where the legislature is proposing to the people an amendment to the state constitution, and then the proposed language can add new sections, amend existing sections, or repeal existing sections of the state constitution. So for example, an ACA would say, resolved by the Assembly, the Senate concurring, that the legislature of the state of California at its 2019-20 regular session, commencing on the second day of December 2019, 2/3 of the membership of each house concurring, hereby proposes to the people of the state of California that the Constitution of the state be amended as follows, and then it sets forth that specific language. So those are some general differences in terms of the drafting of the three types of legislative measures in the California state legislature.